Other interesting political news: you have a woman charged for registering dead people to vote, which I'm shocked, absolutely shocked. I thought our elections were always safe and secure. This never happens, we're told. Oh, and then when it happens, fascinatingly enough, it's usually only one side of the political outlet does it. Fascinating coincidence, I'm sure. Now this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on X, which she says, quote, breaking, woman in Pennsylvania is charged for registering dead people and non-existent people to vote. She is employed by New Pennsylvania Project, and Oregon Democrats start in 2021. Who'd have thunk it? And this didn't go as far as I thought it should. Got about 3.2 million views as well as 17,000 likes. Let's hear what he has to say over here.
And it works is she would use the app to go online and send in the information to the state to get somebody registered to vote. The state then requires certain pieces of information, one of which is your driver's license or your last 4 digits of your Social Security number. If they have those successfully, they can upload that information from the state databases, send it down to the county. The county, it's called a verified registration. The county, Jim's people then go and put your vote or your ward and precinct and all that information and actually issue you a card, a voter registration card. Some of them the state can't verify and they send them down to our election office or whatever county it is. And those people then get contacted through what's called a HAVA letter. That's the Helping America Vote Act. Federal law was passed in 2002 after the 2000 election fiasco. That letter basically goes out to that person saying, we can't verify this information, can you give us more? Jim's people, and Jim is one of the people, and I think Crystal, who noticed that some of these that were coming in from Ms. Hill's app were the same variations of the same name. Again, this person who died in her house in 2011, she tried multiple times to register that individual, Mr. Reed, using either different spellings or different addresses or different email accounts. They noticed these clusters of these fake votes it's not fake votes, excuse me, fake registrations. And they immediately contacted Tanner and Doug, and we began an investigation. That has led to the charges today. Ms. Hill is being charged with, again, 4 counts of registering people, including her dead father, and a person who died in the house she currently lives in 2011, that she was the one notified authorities that he was dead in that house. So she knowingly registered dead people or attempted to register dead people through the state system. She did register a fraudulent person, and my understanding is this is sort of a gap in the system where by putting in no date of birth and no Social Security number, is that right, Doug? It goes through and it became a verified voter registration.
What? I guess I'm most surprising part is she actually just being charged for something. Because now, going to the comment section, one of the first ones comes from Paul Zazupa saying, quote, but I thought our elections were secure, getting 101 likes, which, yeah. I mean, there's always fraud in every election. I think since the invention of elections, the real question is, statistically speaking, is it enough cheating to actually make a difference? So again, no matter who wins, there's always going to be, even though Trump won, I'm sure there's some cheating. I can't but think that they're probably in the 13 to 14 states that come out one that didn't require any voter ID, but I partially digress. Going down to the recap EDTM says, quote, since they couldn't replicate in time, the discrepancy of missing voters were highly noticeable. What happened to the 15 million votes in 2024 that were dubbed the most important election of our lives? Talking about how there's a delta between the different elections, 2020 to 2024. It says, every election will be stolen until we fix the problem. Paper ballots, no machines, ID, signature, verification, vote in person, proof of life, signature ID, absentee, and mail-in. Getting 182 likes. That can't be this person. Someone posted a picture of a man dressing as a woman, and I'm not sure this person who's the crime is alleged, but Brandon just says typical Democrat. They got 102 likes. Alec Lay says they cheated, but Pennsylvania was too big to rig, and they got 218 likes. Simon Unleashed says, did you catch that last part? By using the app, but not including the date of birth or social security number, it automatically gets added to the registered voters list. Yeah, that would be called a huge error or coincidence. Got 63 likes. Lady Patriot says, quote, will we ever get serious about voter fraud? No, as long as the state has Democratic governors getting 48 likes, which, yeah, again, in many states, like my great state of Texas, they do require voter ID. You have to show a valid ID to actually do it. In some states, particularly the ones that Kamala won, you don't have to. I don't think that's a coincidence, but that's just me. We also have Bitfire saying, but we are sure there's no voter fraud, getting 285 likes, which, again, there's always going to be some. I mean, it's just inevitable, just a massive volume. I mean, not just humans being evil, or some might debate inherently evil, depending on your philosophies, but I mean, some folks, it's one of those things where there's also the human error. Where again, there are some people, or there's some instances where people make honest mistakes that can result in voter fraud as well. It's not always malicious, although I would guess that it is a greater frequency of malicious versus ignorance in the cases of voter fraud. Now, scrolling down more and more, you have Sandra saying, quote, the last 4 letters in American are I can. The last 4 letters in Republican is I can. The last 4 letters in Democrats is rats. 68 likes. Now, that being said, a lot of Republicans are useless, or I would argue, well, bad in terms of they're rhinos. They're not really Republicans. They're Republicans in name only, where they're just masquerading to get donations, dollars, and votes, where really their policies and their voting pattern themselves are Democratic or Democrat philosophy ideologies. So, yeah, don't get me started. Again, Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House this time around. They should be able to, one of my passions is the Second Amendment. They should be able to repeal the NFA, what's called the National Firearms Act of 1934, also known as the NFA Act. They should be able to repeal that. It's been almost 100 years requiring extra BS and money if you want to buy a short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, machine gun, destructive devices. You can buy those if your state permits it, but you have to pay a $200 tax stamp to the U.S. Treasury Department. Thank God that's the one time inflation helped us. Because again, $200 in 1934 is about $4,800 now. So you have to pay a special tax. You have to have your photos taken, like your passport photo taken, as well as fingerprints taken, like you're treated like a criminal, as well as extra bureaucratic paperwork. So it could take between 4 to 9 months to get it as a trust, and a few weeks if you buy as an individual. Again, not legal advice, just telling you the methodology currently, as my understanding, which is one of those things where you shouldn't have to do all that to exercise your right. And you also pay sales tax on top of all of that, which is ridiculous and abhorrent. Again, for your right. And yet, again, Republicans have the power. Will they do anything this time around? I hope they do. Don't get me wrong. But because there's so many rhinos out there, I'm pretty skeptical if they'll ever actually repeal the NFA Act of 1934. Again, I hope they do. But yeah, I mean, just saying Republicans are all good, like she's implying. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Going down more and more. Rob Coates says, lock her up, and it's Donald Trump tweeting saying, quote, if you vote illegally, you're going to jail, getting 84 likes. I'm Ken says, I'm not surprised. I'm anxious to see if Trump and the RNC will follow through on a promise and prosecute them, getting 62 likes. Maybe. But as I always say, time shall tell. And let me know, again, this particular incident appears pretty small in terms of quantifiable. Did it a couple of times, though again, it's so serious. I still believe it's a serious crime that should be prosecuted. You think will she successfully be prosecuted? She'll actually go to jail or have, any type of ramifications? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment, it's a great way to give me a little bit of additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.